logo before.
You're in the right place. These eggs, as well as all the products sold at this market, are guaranteed through a PGS.
What's a PGS?
It stands for Participatory Guarantee System. It means that us producers, together with consumers and others from our community, come together to form a guarantee system that ensures the organic quality of our products and much more.
More?
Yes, well, many people in our community share the vision to practice agroecology, produce safe and nutritious food, and ensure better livelihoods for producers. We wanted a system where we could decide, together with our community, how the food we produce and eat is grown. So we started using organic standards which also cover things like fairness, economic sustainability, and energy efficiency. We all participate in the management of the system, and decision-making is equal and horizontal. For example, we take time each year to verify every producer that wants to sell at this market.
And how does that work?
We call it a peer review. PGS farmers, together with consumers, visit each other's farms to see how things are being managed. The quality control is carried out by our own members.
Well, I don't know much about farming in general. Could be a good way to learn more.
Oh, definitely. Through these visits, we all learn. As producers, we're always looking for ways to improve our work. And by joining the visits, consumers better understand how the food they eat is produced and what our challenges are. Participatory guarantee systems create an environment of trust and transparency. By building a system together, members develop a sense of ownership and awareness, which ensures integrity from field to fork.
That sounds great. And what if I would like to take part?
Well, you're more than welcome. Just come along to our next meeting.
I'll do that, thank you.
Participatory guarantee systems, building sustainable food systems and healthy communities.
Okay, let me stop the video. That's to share with us this morning. So please permit me to stop the video. Okay. Thank you for watching. And welcome to today's session. So that's just a short video on PGS. It will be on the e-learning platform and many other videos that we can even share with our colleagues that probably you are thinking of starting PGS in your organization, within your group or within your organization. So that's to sensitize us about what PGS is. So this morning, welcome everybody. Thanks to those who have joined. And like I said, I hope people remember that they opted that we change to today instead of tomorrow, which is Friday. Okay, we'll go straight to today's agenda. Please permit me to share my screen. Okay, so today we are doing a debriefing on the Module 3 with 3 organizational and economical aspects of conversion to organic farming. Last Tuesday, we started a discussion and we started looking at, as an organization, what we need to put in place to be able to prepare for conversion and the economic aspect. That's why we brought in PGS to be able to help through the conversion period so that you can still sell your product as organic within your local environment. And then when it's ready for export after the 3 years and you pass your certification, then you are able to export. And whatever you can't export also, you can still sell as organic on the local market because PGS is not expensive at all. Even if you set it up as an organization within the country who already has PGS, they guide you, and then it is not expensive for the farmer to contribute to make it work at all. So having done that, today's agenda, we'll be doing a recap of section 1. What did we discuss in section 1? We'll just go through a recap. Everyone will try to speak on what they learned from Tuesday, and I will do an overview. Then there's going to be a presentation on our assignments, and then we look at key organizational information that is necessary for preparation for the new EU regulation. And then, like I said before, there's already an NOP draft going on right now. So even the USDA is changing some of the laws. So in the nutshell, in the next few years, we're going to be seeing a stricter organic regulations and standards all over the world, meaning that some of the things that we are not considering before will now start to be put to check, especially in terms of sustainability, environmental sustainability, in terms of biodiversity, and things that we use, trying to make sure that we use local materials more than import. Because when you import, actually, it's a cost. Apart from the fact that you're paying money, it's a cost on the environment, because there's a cargo that has to bring that, or a ship that has to run on fossil fuel that has to come to your country, and then you have to buy the product. And then even within the country, there's distribution, and fossil fuel is being burned. And so as much as possible, we want to lower the use of fossil fuel. And if we want to reduce the use of fossil fuel, it means that internally now, we need to start thinking of what we can produce, what we can use internally. And whatever we can't now not find internally is what we are going to substitute from outside. And even when we want to substitute from outside, we need to look at our region first. Do my next country, my region, is it available? Then we can buy it from there. Then before going to, the developed country, to bring them into the country. So that is what organic actually is. And now we are going back to what really organic is, that there's less external inputs coming into the system. So having said that, I would like, based on the way the names are on my screen, that's how I am going to, place this morning. There's no particular order, please. So the first person is Abdul. Abdul, in 1 minute, can you share with us what you learned on Tuesday? We discussed on so many things. So Abdul, please unmute yourself and speak. And for anyone that I called your name and you can't speak for one reason or the other, please feel free to chat on the Zoom chat, send in your inputs, what you learned, what was key for you on Tuesday. Abdul, are you there? So also when we call you and you're not there, is an indication to us that you're on the Zoom, but you are not with us in the training. So like I said before, attendance is important. These are ways we check that you are with us in the Zoom session. Madam Chido, please over to you.
How are you? What I learned during the Tuesday session is basically the similarities and differences between the two systems. And what was of interest was the fact now we understand that the other one is for the local, and it is, and I discovered that it is very good, especially when you are trying to introduce smallholder farmers into organic farming. If you then try to introduce them, you know, in the okay, like the professional one, it looks very difficult. But this peer review thing, it's like you are bringing people together and also knowing that they are able to share information, and then you demystify the aspect that it is something which is not within their reach. They realize that it is something they can do and they can actually excel and take the next step forward. So that was very interesting to us, that at least we understand that, okay, how do you introduce it? And that is a very good way of introducing organic farming, and later on the certification process, the professional one to smallholder farmers, because it's like we are taking them a step at a time. And I think it's also a way of, sharing and empowering each other, motivating each other. That is, it brings that into this, which makes it very, very good in terms of even mobilizing more farmers to participate. Over to you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Like I said on Tuesday, it's a tool that developed the organic market. So many times for export markets, we want to bring the farmers together. The farmers are at different levels of understanding. It's always difficult for them to follow rules, to follow this strict rule and things like that. So they need to come from a basic understanding and grow into it. And then moreover, when you tell a farmer that you are going to be following a rule for 3 years, but you will not be able to sell that product and get real premium for it, it's like, okay, then why do we do it? So if you're selling at the local market, it depending on the country, they have different ways of identifying fully organic and organic in conversion at the local market. Then it will encourage the farmers. And the fact that they have to learn together practices that will increase their productivity. For me, that is a good chain that we have been able to develop in the organic movement. And then the fact that, when you look at it, it's not only export markets that we need to be able to differentiate conventional food from organic food. So at the local market, we have to be able to also differentiate our indigenous food that is not being exported as organic and conventional. So PGS is that tool that enables the farmers to be able to participate and be bold and to say that what they are producing is actually organic, and they are happy, and they are getting premium and getting notice that there's organic producers in the country. Thank you very much. Ms. Columbus, over to you, please. What did you learn last week? Tuesday. Okay, Abdul said his network is bad. Just 1 minute. Abdul says that the certification system and their applicability. And then he also learned that green label, despite the name, isn't organic certificate. Thank you for saying that, because this is one big issue that we already have in Ghana about the name. The green is confusing a lot of people, and it was really deliberate by the government entity to try to let people buy into it, thinking that it is organic, but it is not organic. So, Mr. Columbus, over to you.
Good morning, everybody. My take-home points from Tuesday session were actually on the differences between the 3 certification systems, whereby the PGS is where a group regulates itself, and if every member is responsible for each other's deeds and activities. Then there's the ICS, which is an external control system, but the control systems are actually instituted inside the organization with the help of an external person, and it's actually meant for the export. And usually it's between the exporter and the producer. Then we've got the third part certification, which is also largely for the export market as well, where an external certifying body comes in and certifies that the produce is actually organic. And also after that, I also learned about the costing or the components of the cost build up for organic production. What components do we need to look at, the direct costs and the indirect costs that are involved as well? Yeah, I think that's all I can say at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much for mentioning about the cost, because it's important that we try to, as much as possible, not to leave anything unaccounted, so that we have a good overview of what is going to, the cost is going to look like for us. Over to you, Eunice. Are you able to speak? Or you want to write on the group chat? Eunice.
Hello.
Hello.
I think I was having network problem, but I had to type on the chat.
Yes, Abdul. Yes,
Yes,
I saw your chat, and I
Okay.
commented on it that I'm happy that you now understand that green label is not organic, and
Yeah, thank you.
that is one major issue that we are battling with in Ghana, because many farmers think that green label is organic. Eunice is not there with us. Godwin, are you there with us?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, last week I've learned a lot about the certification, and before the farmer have to get this certificate, they have to pass through some channels and all this before getting the certificate. And so, and then after that, I also learned that the farmer have to know the particular crop that is going to grow organically. We also learned that ICS have to be trained. There must be a more training of the farmers. If they have outgrowers or something like that, they have to train them regularly, inspecting their farms to see whether they're doing the right things and so forth. And I also learned that the organization have to keep record about whatever either the training or visit anyone who visit them, the cost of all these things have to be recorded. So I think that is what I've learned last Tuesday. Last Tuesday, right?
Thank you so much. About that, something came to mind. I'm not sure if I have it in one of the slides, but one of the rules now is for the EU, for those who will be exporting to EU, is that as an organic how-to-growers ICS, if you are in one ICS as a mango farmer, you cannot be in another ICS in your country as a mango farmer. So you can only be in one group as a mango farmer, which before some outgrowers, they are like in 2-3 outgrower scheme, they try to look for who I can sell to, who will buy, or if I have excess, I can always sell to this group. This is the quantity. For example, Biotropics to buy only 500 or 1,000 kg from me. So I still have another 1,000 kg I can sell to WAD. No, in this new group now, it is one commodity, one group in a country. It is now a role. So this is becoming very interesting as it unfolds in the next few months, that we'll be seeing the transition being effective. Leslie, are you able to speak? Leslie? Okay, Leslie is on with us. Okay, Leslie is with us. Okay.
I've spoken about everything. So I think what I can remember of the third party PGS, some of the differences. Where the third party, they set their own rules. Sorry for the background. When they set out their own rules, and the PGS is participatory, so they are all involved in the rules setting. So I think that's what I will add out.
Okay. Thank you. Mike, do you have anything to contribute? Sam?
How are you guys?
Good morning, Mike.
Okay, fine. I think most of the things that we looked at last week have been highlighted by the previous speakers, but probably what I may add on to is maybe we looked at what is organic certification, the meaning of organic certification, what does it imply or constitute, and we looked at the definition. Then we also looked at what is a certified organic product. What do we mean by that? It is a certified product. That's one area that I think maybe has not been talked about. And the types of certifications, the 4 types of certifications that we looked at. I think someone has said it before, the self-declaration, the second-party certification, third-party certification, and the participatory certification. I think basically maybe those are things that maybe I would highlight, I would add on. Thank you.
Thank you. Eunice said that she learned that certification has to do with conformity to producing quality product and system, and the certification PGS in Ghana has an alternative to third-party certification, and she learned that PGS is meant to develop local market for organic products. Thank you. Yes. So let's eat organic in our different countries, in Zimbabwe, in Uganda, in Kenya, and in Nigeria and in Ghana. Let's allow some of these products to be sold. And even for Ghana right now, hotels are calling on us and the schools now. And I can tell you that there's huge market that you can plug in Ghana for PGS. We joined the PGS Ghana Organics. The hotels are, because a lot of people coming into the hotels, you know, they're expatriates, they're international people. So they understand organic, and they've started asking questions about where does their foods come from in Ghana. And so some of the hotels now wants to really buy and have contact with the house growers. And so you have a few of them on the list now who are saying they want to have direct contact with the growers, and they're buying directly from them, and that we ensure that it is organic. That is a big deal for them. So Samuel, over to you. Do you have anything to contribute? Are you there? And Anna, are you there with us? Do you have anything to contribute before we move on for me to share the overview of what we learned? Okay, if I'm not hearing from Samuel and Anna, then thank you to everyone.
Hello.
Hello, is that Samuel?
Yeah,
Okay.
Samuel.
Okay.
Okay. First, I learned about the certification of organic agriculture, and we also learned about the types of certification, and we also learned about PGS. And I learned that PGS needs to have representatives that sometimes need to visit the farmers to check on what the organic practice that they do in their farms, to see that what they are doing is really organic, in a way that they will not practice any artificial farming system, which they will tell the organization that is organic agriculture farming that they are practicing in their farm. And I also learned about how a farmer have to do good agriculture practice in his farm so that he can export his products to international level. That's what I learned.
Thank you.
Last Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone that contributed. Now I'm going to just do a quick overview of what we learned Tuesday. So we talked about organic, and one key thing that organic certification, one key thing that I said is that the certification enhances trust between all the parties that are involved. So the parties are able to trust because there's conformity to standard that has been agreed, regulation that has been agreed. So you are conforming, you are practicing that standard, and so it brings trust into those who want to consume or who wants to buy your product. Anna said that I also learned about certification of organic farm, which means you have to officially have the requirement for the certification. Yes, there's requirement for certification. So it's not anybody can just wake up and say, I am an organic farmer. That's what we see organic products all over the country, like what we are seeing in Ghana. And those products have not gone through the right channels, through the right certification. So it's important that we begin to tell our farmers in the different groups that we have, when we see people saying, I have organic products, we need to question them. We need to tell them what we have also learned, that no, it is not right that you say that your product is organic. It has to go through certification for you to be able to declare that your product is organic. If you want to use self-declaration, then you cannot come on social media or group and say your product is organic. Then it has to be true to the person that you are selling to and you are declaring to that it's organic. So we also learn that the product whose certification, certified organic product is a product who the production, the distribution, the labeling, the processing have been validated. So throughout the chain, you have ensured trust. You have built a trust that what you are producing is organic. In fact, there was a case that happened some time ago. There's this company, I will not mention the name, in Ghana. They actually exported produce that is organic to one of the EU countries. And when it got there, they had issues. It was rejected. Why? They detected that there's a chemical in the produce. So they wrote back to them. They did all that. They tried to sit down to analyze. They went back to the field. They did all the checkings on. There was nowhere they could trace. They couldn't trace where the chemical is coming from. So they started making deeper investigation on their distribution chain. Who went to pick the produce? What happened when you pick the produce? Which vehicle did you use? When you pick, did you stop on the way? Did you do something? So they found out that one of the drivers, when he went to pick the produce from the farmers, on the way, picked some farmers who were going from their own farm, and then picked them into the vehicle at the articulated truck. They sat at the back, put their cloth, their farm cloth, on the organic produce. And when they got to where they are going, they dropped off, and he went to drop the produce at their pack house, and they packed it and they shipped it. Not knowing that some of those farmers just finished spraying their farm with synthetic products. And so the residues were all over their body, their clothes, their Wellington boots, and everything. And so they just dumped that on the product. And because it's a long travel, it actually rested there for a long period. So it's now they had to retrain their drivers and their staffs that if you go and pick produce, you cannot pick anybody on the road. You cannot assist. It's not because you don't want to assist, but you are picking a delicate product. So the chain cannot be broken. If a farmer has done organic, you cannot, through the distribution line, now break the chain of organic conformity. So it's important that throughout the chain, we educate. So it's not just the farmers that we need to train. We have to train our drivers. We have to train everybody that is involved in the chain to the last person. Even the cleaners in your office, in your establishment, they have to attend the training. They have to know that they cannot use certain cleaning agents, that it's not allowed in the cleaning facility. So all these are education that we need to give so that our product at the end, when it gets to the right place, is still organic. Okay, so then we also learn about the different types of, like we have all mentioned, the different types of certification. And now we are able to differentiate the different types of certification and what each one does, the meaning of PGS, the ICS, and we know that what is meant for local and the one that is meant for international. And even for the local, we know that it can transit into international once you have enough house growers and they are able to conform to the organic standard that they want to export to. Then we went to steps involved in inspection and certification. We looked at the planning of your conversion. What crops do you need to grow? What quantity? If you are exporting, are you exporting 20-foot container, 40-foot container? What is the quantity of boxes that you need to put there? And as house growers, so that will determine the number of house growers that you must have so that you can actually, fulfill the quantity that you want to be exporting to your buyers. And what crop in particular are you converting? So a farmer has mango, has coconut, has this one. Which one is meant for which ICS? So a farmer can be in 2 ICS group, but it has to be 2 different products now. So it means that it can have an ICS group for coconut and have an ICS group for mango, but it cannot be in 2 ICS group for mango henceforth now. So these are the part of the new rules that are coming into place and which are going to be enforced very soon. Then the second, clarification for certification. What kind of certification are you pursuing for which country? We talked about the different types of certification that is available for which country. There's EU, there's NOP. NOP is for US. So your buyer determines also the kind of certification that you will take. Where your buyer is, that is where they will determine the kind of certification you have to take. And now even buyers, apart from your organic certificate, certification, they are asking for different layers of certification again. That's where you have your Rainforest Alliance certification, you have your fair trade, you have UTZ. So there are other sustainability, that's what we call them, sustainability certification that enhances the organic certification that is now being a part of what buyers are asking for nowadays. So now it is more than ever before that we cannot just do anything within our organic system. And like we mentioned that now you just have to comply. Compliance is of highest grade now for the top developing countries. You have to comply. You cannot, there's nothing like managing the system and equivalence. Godwin, you have a question. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. Yeah, you made mention that one crop, one ICS, right?
Yes.
Here's a case in my farm, wild farm. The farm that we have here, we have multiples of crops like plantain. So meaning, if you have 10 crops, you have to have 10 ICIs. Is that right?
So ICS is group certification. So for your wild farm, your farm is part of the ICS group. So your farm is not certified. Leslie, am I saying the truth? Your farm is not certified as wild farm separately, as individual certification. Is that correct, Leslie?
I may have to check on it.
Yeah, your farm is not isolated as individual certification. It is still part of the ICS certification that you have been having. So what you are doing in essence is you are putting what farm, mango, into the mango ICS group. Then you are putting what farm, coconut, into the coconut ICS group. So that's what I just explained, that you can have a farm, you can have variety of crops there, but you can only belong to one ICS group for one commodity. So every commodity is one ICS group. You cannot have one commodity and then belong to two ICS groups. No. Do you understand now, Godwin? Hello.
Yes. Okay.
Now,
Hello.
do you understand now that you can have 20 crops on your farm, but it also means that those 20 crops that you have 20 ICS groups that you belong to. That is for the export market.
Okay.
That is for the export market. But for the local market, for PGS, now for the local market, all that is available in your farm, the 20 crops that you have, is under one certification. That is the difference between PGS and the ICS. So for the new EU certification now, it is one commodity, one ICS group that you can belong to. You cannot belong to several ICS groups for one commodity in a country. So, Bafo, you want to say something?
Yes.
No.
Good morning, everyone from Ghana.
Good morning.
I still need clarification on the crop and certification. That is one crop, one ICS. For us, we are into citrus. And for citrus, we deal with lemon and orange. In that case, should we have two ICS for lemon and orange? I understand your
Hello, Bafo, we are losing you.
explanation, but I want a more clarification and orange. Thank you.
Thank you. So if I get you correctly, because I lost you in between, I don't know if it's my network or yours, but you do lemon and you do orange, which I know very well for bio topics. So for my suggestion with the new EU regulation and to play safe, this is my suggestion. And I think your CB, because they also have to get a lot of approvals now. And right now, I think there's no certification body that has gotten their final approval on the new EU regulation. They are still working with the old regulation anyway. It is safer to have two ICS groups. Now, it is safer because not also, probably they are not all your farmers are doing lemon, and not all the same farmer are doing orange. Some might be doing orange and they are not doing lemon. Some are doing lemon and probably they are not doing orange. It is good because now your new certificates for ICS with the new EU regulation, the names of the farmers are going to be on the certificates from 2025. So if that farmer's name, now the farmers have to have a legal registration. And so it's their entity on their own, whether it's cooperative, whether it's whatever they want to call it. They have to be able to register in, let's say for Ghana, with the Registrar General, and then they have their own identity, and then they have their name. Their certificate is going to be in that group name. Even though your organization as Biotropics has signed an agreement with them that you are overseeing a contract to them, that you are overseeing their ICS, but their certificate is still going to come in their name from 2025. And their names are going to be written on it. So if a farmer is not producing orange, how will his name be on it? You understand the technical thing inside it now, that they are not really explaining, but for me, that's where I think we are going now, that it is better to separate them and say, this is one ICSP, this is for orange, this is for citrus. And then you are also able to, even though you might sell, there might be a buyer that is buying orange and citrus together, but at least you are able to differentiate the two farmers from each. And if a farmer is doing citrus and orange, his name is going to be on both ICS. That's my take. It's a lot of work because you are separating. But technically, when you visit, you are visiting as one. But on paper, I think for me, you should start separating them so that, and then you should confirm with your CB. I don't know if it's Control Union or ECOSAT that is your certification body. But
our CB is ECOSAT.
ECOSAT. And even them, they need to finish their requirements with EU before they can tell you anything within the new EU regulation now. They have to get their approval, and then they are able to tell you. Because if they are telling you anything now, they'll still be telling you something based on the former EU regulation. Yeah. But it's good to cross-check with them if you should separate or if you can manage the two together. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody else.
We do our best.
Yes, we do our best. And that's why I'm encouraging people. Yes, I know it's a lot of money when you sell internationally. But do you know that you can sell almost the same thing, almost in Ghana for hotels? Because if you are selling directly to the hotels, you are cutting off the middlemen. So that's money that the women, queen women or whatever, we get, you are directly getting it. And then the fact that you have your certificate, you can sell directly.
Yes, selling to the hotel. Yeah, but we are doing dried peels, and the hotels are not buying dried peels; they buy fresh fruits.
Oh, that's why you asked me that question about the dried peels. So the cosmetic industry.
I don't think.
The cosmetics industry are those who buy the what they call it, the dry orange peels. And so let me speak to our quality assurance officer in PGS, and then I will, whatever he says, I will then link you up. If we can get buyers for you also in Ghana, that would be very good. That you can get buyers in Ghana also. Yeah, so I'll speak to the quality assurance person.
I'm grateful.
Yes. So
I'm grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Somebody else, if there's no other person that has raised his or her hand, then I can move on. Samuel, did you raise? Yeah, Samuel. Yes. Samuel, over to you. Samuel.
Yeah, please. I said I need a clarification on how to convert first into organic agriculture, because we learned previously that before your farmland can be good for organic, maybe you can do it for maybe 3 years before the land will be in a form of producing organic to sell outside. Please, am I on the line?
Yes.
Yeah.
For export is between 3 years and 5 years. So it is not strictly that it's 3 years, because you can do your test at 3 years and still your residue level might be high, depending on the chemicals that you are using before, depending on the rates that you are using the chemicals before. So you can, at the end of 3 years that you have converted, that you have used, within that 3 years, you have used all organic practices, you would need to test your soil. If the residue level is still high with the organic standard, it means that you still have to convert the 4th year again. But with PGS for us, like us in Ghana, what we have been able to do is to be able to attract more farmers in. We said that the conversion period for tree crops, if you are doing tree crops, is 3 years. If you are doing legumes and cereals and things like that, it is 2 years. If you are doing vegetable, it is 1 year. So depending on the crops that you are doing will determine your conversion period to full organic for you to have full organic certificate in PGS. So
but that means in the first year, maybe let's say I've been doing conversion for maybe 3 years before, 5 years or 10 years. And the first planting on the land, I cannot sell it as organic to PGS in Ghana.
No, you cannot. So you will go through conversion if you are doing vegetable, lettuce, whatever, tomato. One full year, you are going to do organic practices. And then we have to watch you that you are doing all the practices correctly. So after that 1 full year, you will have your peer review in that 1 year. You have all the necessary training and all that in that 1 year, but you cannot sell as organic. It is after 1 year that you can they will now come back, you do your soil test, and then other practices that you have been able to incorporate through your training will now determine if your group will say, okay, this person, yes, we can allow the person to get full organic certificate, or still the person has to go in transition certificate. So it's the group that will determine but at least that 1 full year, you must manage your farm organically.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So the 1 year starts from the day you join. So you can't say I am already doing my own practices. So the day I join, I must get organic. No. So the day you join is the day they start counting for you as 1 year. So that clarification is also very important.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Application and step 3 is application and certification agreement. Now, with those who do ICS, the farmer has to fill a form and all the necessary documents on it. Even with PGS, the farmer has to fill a form, has to be able to say, I want to do this. In PGS, that is why we have a farmer's pledge. You are going to pledge that you want to follow the organic rules. You want to do the organic way of farming. So you are going to do this pledge. And this pledge normally is always recorded in PGS. It is just for you, if you have any sanction at the end of the day, for them to be able to pull it out and say, but you said you are going to be able to practice organic. Why did this and this happen? Because that is the form of your sanction, which will help you to, that you have pledged, you have said in front of people or your group that you're going to be doing organic. So step 4 is record keeping. And this is really essential both for export market and for the local market. Recording all that is needed. The two systems, they have all the information that they record. Each one will tell you, these are the information that we need you to record on your farm. For PGS, that's why when farmers are in group, even if a farmer cannot write, we ensure that there's someone in that group who can write very well. And then also, for us in Ghana, we have simplified their record keeping, that they have letters to say cotton, C. So a farmer can just write C in his book and say dates, write the date and put C. For us, we understand that that day is cotton. So, and if he cannot do that, also his children or his group members can help him do that in his record keeping book every time he goes to the farm. And for the export market, this is extremely essential now, that every step, every activity is recorded. Every day the farmer goes there to the farm, they have to record what they are done now. So just to ensure conformity into their practices. Step 5 is the annual inspection. For ICS, we know that there's internal inspection and then before the external inspection. You must have finished your internal inspection for every farmer in your ICS group before your external inspector comes into place. So also in PGS, you will have been doing your reviews, visiting each other over the time before the day that you are fixed for your peer review as a group now. So you will have noticed who is not doing very well, and you will have helped the person, you will have exchanged knowledge with the person so that the person also is not left alone in the group progress. Then the last thing is your certification. Then your external inspector comes in, go through the inspection role, ask questions, record keeping, documentation, everything, your distribution channels, check everything in total. Then he goes back, sits down, look at, writes his report, send it back to the office, and then they process your certificates on the tracks. So these are the steps that are involved in the inspection and certification. So now we're going to go into the, a good time. We're not going to go into the presentation for our assignment. So we're going to do it per organization. We have WAD, we have Biotropics, we have Zimbabwe Farmers Union, we have Otifresh from Uganda, we have HPW from Ghana. So we're going to you will decide within yourself who is presenting for your organization, because it's the same course that you have actually sat down to write. And then Columbus also, we have you. Sorry, I've forgotten your organization. We have you there. So let's start with WAD, because from my screen, WAD is the first. Leslie and Godwin. So Leslie and Godwin, over to you. Your presentation. Do you want me to share the screen, or you just share from there what you have?
Please share your screen.
Okay, so I have to stop this. Please permit me to stop this. Okay. Sorry, I have to, it has logged out. I have to go back, reconnect. To take few minutes. Okay, I'm almost there. Okay. I want to share directly from, even though I downloaded it yesterday, but I did not label with the names assignment. So we'll start with the first one. Okay, Leslie. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Leslie, can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
This is your first assignment. So just take us through, this is about your organization, what the organization entails. Yeah. We're having a lot of background noise from your end.
Please, I don't know if this hasn't been answered or the one I submitted.
That is what you submitted. I just wanted you to see it, that this is what you submitted. And I was like, I didn't see anything, in your answers. Okay. For example, I'm going to share my screen so that you will see exactly that I am sharing your, where's my, that I'm sharing your, what they call it now. Let me stop sharing first. That I shared, that's why I intentionally went in to share that, because when I saw it,
Let me
you didn't
because I
answer
think
the
the
question.
one, yes, the one I added was the one I directly downloaded.
Yes, the one you downloaded is what you added, you submitted. So go ahead and explain from that side, then you have to resubmit. We're waiting.
I'm trying to resubmit so that you share it.
No, you go on. Start speaking about it, because it's going to take a while. So our time is going. So start talking about it. You can be doing that while we look at your costs. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, because I have your costs now. So I can share your costs. I can share your costs while you are doing that, and you are submitting the other one, which is the organizational aspect. This is now the cost aspect, as I meant to. So over to you. Speak about this, your costs. How did you come about your direct cost as 3,615? So share with us some of the things that you try to put in the figures and how you came about the figures, and so share with the group. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm learning on this, and then this might not be a true reflection of what happens here because I'm not the person responsible. So based on my understanding, I think the first, please can you go up to the, yes. So from here, I chose the number of, I think this is not mine. This is not mine.
This is yours. This is yours. You have a
But I didn't feel benchmarks.
You didn't feel benchmark. Are you sure?
Yes, let me try. I don't know if I can show my screen.
Because I intentionally went to your name and then picked it and downloaded it. Okay, who else is ready? Biotropics. Buffo.
Benedict.
Yes, please.
Hello.
We cannot present because we have not put the figures together. It's all because the person who is in charge of putting these figures together for us, who has been doing it over the years, we could not connect to him. I am at the farm site. Eunice is also in Kumasi at the office, and we're not able to get a person. So we haven't put up the figures together. And for that matter, we cannot present it. Sorry.
So like, yeah, I'm coming, Leslie. Sorry. I told us that it is not supposed to be like the real exact figure, but as the field officer also, you must be able to, or ICS manager, you must be able to understand the costs because you are the one interfacing with the farmers. You understand? You are the ones now real that is seeing the farmers every day, every time you meet with them, you discuss with them. You are the ones that is supposed to come and be able to explain to the farmer because you are the ones the farmers will be asking questions. Why are you buying at this price from us? Why are you not adding more money to it? And things like that. So it's important as ICS manager, as ICS inspector field officer, that you understand this cost. So it is not supposed to be like the exact cost that it's going to be, but the understanding of you sitting down and then trying to figure out all that is involved in the inspection and certification process, all the costs that that is supposed to be incurred, and that's the exercise for you. So, Buffalo, you can do it without Kumasi office. So you don't have to have the exact figure from Kumasi office.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So I don't have a screen to share.
Okay. Let's finish. Then you can share with us verbally
Okay.
the organizational one and then the cost.
Okay.
Leslie, over to you. Leslie. Hello. Can you unmute yourself? Unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, please, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Please, am I sharing my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Okay. Yes, this is what I did, if you can see.
Okay.
So from my understanding, I checked production and I used organic dried coconut, and then as for exportation, I used organic fresh pineapple. Then the number of units, I stated 1. And I think it fills out when you enter.
Yes,
then
it's automated.
Yeah. So coming to the fixed cost, these are fixed costs based on the number of units as well. So those ones I didn't tamper with it. Then the indirect cost, that's the one I also entered 1 unit, training of a technician, then the number of people 1. Then I just put a rate of €10. It might not be the real reflection, but I was trying to understand it and do it as it is. Then the training procedures, also at a rate of 10 euros. Formalization of entity, 10 euros. Then salary expenses per year, that's the 12 months. I put that higher because salaries may be higher. Then the fuel too, I put it higher because fuels are costly. Then communication credits, I just put a rate of 20 euros per year. So that summed up for this. And then the total indirect cost and the fixed cost also sums up for what we have up here.
Okay.
So this is my understanding of the whole system. And I'm not in charge, I don't know much, but from what I learned. And then from the group operators, I also used Coconuts. And then the number of people we have in the group, I used the Coconuts group. We have a maximum of 15 people for now. So that also will automate to the now 5% to be audited, then the number of sites per day. Also, yes, based on that, it also gives you the quantity and the amount here. Then for the indirect cost, I made it just as the individual producers with the stated rates for fuel, for credits, for training, and for salaries. So that amounted to this. And then with the fixed costs also amounted to 1,400. So basically, just to have an understanding, I just put in the figures and then use a sample of 15 outgrowers. Yes.
Thank
That's
you.
from my understanding.
Yeah, thank you, Leslie. So one thing that is important when you are doing it is for you to take the euros and convert it to CD. You are in Ghana, and look at that amount. So if you say 10 euros, 10 euros is 100 and 140, like 130 cities. So are you saying that training of technician, that training will cost 130 cities? You understand? Even though it's not an exact figure you are putting, but you need to be realistic. It also helps you as a staff to be able to see the figures like, wow. So this is like what we are actually putting into this organization. And it helps you to also project yourself and be able to interact with the farmers, because 10 euros is just 140 or 130 cedis. If I use 13 cedi per euro, that's 130 cedis. So I know that training of technician will cost more than that. Should cost nothing less than 2,000. If you are doing it internally, let's say your ICS manager is the one training them, then it will be cheaper because probably it's just lunch that you are giving each other. But if you are bringing an expert from outside to come and train the technician, then the cost will go up because you're going to pay the person as an expert to come and train. And it also depends on what type of training. Then you put there the quantity of training for 1 year is 1. So it's also good that we begin to look at it like, is it one? What does the rule say? Is it just once that we have to train our technician, or do we train them twice per product? Like you are doing coconuts, and then okay, your group of operator is just coconut. So you're just training your technicians based on coconut. But for our Bafo, for example, is doing citrus. Now they are doing citrus. Probably they want to add coconut to it in the next few years. So are they just going to train the technician once on, because some of the practices are different. Some are general, but some are specific. So all these are costs that we need to actually put in place, put into this Excel and be able to see what it looks like. And then we'll be able to communicate with even our co-workers. And when we are in a position to train, we are able to share with them that, do you know that this and this and this and this are costs that we will always incur when we do this, when we go through this process. So, and then also it's a preparation for you to go into higher position. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Leslie. Okay, Bafo, over to you. You can stop sharing your screen. Bafo, over to you.
Please, can you help me with where to go? Okay.
You have to do from here.
All
Yeah.
right.
Bafo, over to you.
Hello. Good. As I said, I don't have a screen to share, but I'm going to say it orally. And yes, when we are processing a 20-liter container, we will need about 40 boxes of fruits, which is about 400,000 fruits. So we buy the fruits from farmers, and
Bafo, we are losing you. Is Eunice able to help? Because I know both of you are from the same office. Eunice, are you able to help step in? Because we can't hear Bafo right now. I know he's on the field and the network there is not too good. Okay, while we're waiting for Bafo to come back, the next person will be Samuel. Samuel.
That alone.
Okay, Bafo is back.
Will cause
Bafo, we actually lost you. Your network is not so good. Yeah, its network is not good. I know he's on the field. Eunice, are you able to step in for Bafo? Or you are not able to step in for Bafo? Okay, Samuel, over to you.
Hello?
Hello,
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I will try my best because I'm not in the processing side. I'm in charge of the nursery. I know nothing about processing, but I'll try my best with what I did. Let's say when they are about to process a pineapple, we are into dry fruits. So let's say if they want to sell 10 tons of pineapple, and they have to get about 15 tons from the outgrowers, they convey it to the farm. Actually, I don't know how much they buy it from there, but I'll just give you a gist of a price, which is let's take it 10,000 cities in Ghana. But I hear me. If they want to process about 10,000 tons, yeah, maybe they'll buy about 15,000 tons of pineapple from the outgrowers, which I will estimate it around, let's take it 20,000 Ghana cities, and they will need about maybe 100 workers who will do the processing, and they are paying them, let's take it 50 cities or five, let's take it roughly 5 cities times 100 will give me around 1,000 cities. And because I'm not part of the processing team, so I know nothing about the production. But so with that, they will pay them maybe about 1,000 cities, and after that they have to send it to quality insurance for them to check that what they have done is the best way. And maybe there too, if it is 20 people who are there working, they also take maybe about 10 cities. Then times 20 will give me 2,000 additional to the 1,000, which is 3,000. Then from there, they will send it to packing. Then they will go and do the final processing that we call packing. They will go and do it. From there, they have to send it to exports. So if packing, if it is 5 people who are there and they are paying them, maybe they are paying them around 500 cities per person, it will give me, the 5 people will give me about 2,500 added to the 3,000, which is 5,500. So that will be the cost of production. And when I come to the indirect cost related with the description, let's say in terms of the rate, training of technicians, we are training 2 technicians and their rates is 1,000 cedis. Then we are also training 3 producers and we are giving each person 5.
Hello, Samuel. Samuel? Samuel? We lost you. Hello, Samuel, we lost you. Okay. So, yes, as if Samuel will come back, but I would like to say this, that even though we are not the person in charge of the organization, but because your organization assigned you in to this course, and this course has its assignments, it's important that if you want at the end of the day to be able to take your certificate, you have to do the assignment and submit. And next week, there's going to be a big assignment, which will involve all that we have been doing from week 1, week 2, week 3. All this will be compressed into an action plan exercise, which is bigger, which will involve costs, which involves so many other things that you have to submit before by next week, and then before your certificate can be issued to you. So even though you are not the person in charge, it's also an opportunity for me. I always see it as an opportunity to learn. Like, okay, let me learn this. Let me ask questions. Let me call the person in charge. Don't give me the exact number. Just give me, kind of figures. Let me ask. I can WhatsApp the person and say, okay, you know what? I'm on this course from the office. Just give me a rough idea of how you do this, so that I can submit my assignment. It's a process of learning. And that's how, for me, I've been able to learn a lot in the organic journey, because you have to keep learning and keep learning so many things. So don't say that I'm not the one in charge, but I can just say this. No, it's not just you can say this. You have to, the figures have to look a little bit real, a little bit realistic when you are putting. That was why I was telling Leslie that convert 10 euros to CD and see the figure. It's not just putting the figure there. It's putting a figure that it will make sense if somebody sees it. So please do your assignment and submit. An assignment is compulsory on this course. Thank you. The next person is Madam Chido. I saw your, no, the next person, sorry, the next person is Columbus. Columbus, you've actually submitted. Are you still with us? Because I saw your chat.
Hello.
Hello.
Please, is the assignment individual presentation or group presentation?
The assignment is group, because the cost is per organization.
Company. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's your organization that you are, all of you in Netflix, for example, is the same thing that you put in your assignment, but everybody has to go to the e-learning platform and submit it. That is where the difference is. So even if you present as a group, you have to go and put it there as individual.
Okay. So the presentation too, is it done individually or one person will present?
One person will present on behalf of the
group.
Yes,
okay.
of the
Because
organization.
I went out of network, so I joined not long ago when they were presenting. So I didn't know
one person. So I'm calling different organizations right now. So we've been calling them. So Columbus, please, over to you.
Thank you. I do not have my figures off the top of my head. Is it possible for you to share?
Yeah, let me minimize this page.
Yeah, because of my network challenges, I actually had to rush out into the bush to try and get some network. So I'm actually in the, under a tree right now.
I think it says your no, it's not coming. Let me stop. I'm coming. Okay, Columbus. This should be your.
Yeah, let me try and enlarge them a little bit because I'm using my phone. Okay. All right. The presentation that we are doing is the one for the individual certification, and our main areas of certification, actually we targeting to get this EcoCert certification for the production, the transformation, and the stockage for now. And we've got a single site that we'll be dealing with, which is our whole farm. We're actually we're targeting to certify it as a whole unit. And so it's going only to be one farm, and that is going to be certified, and it's one site. And possibly, I'm not sure about the certification days, but I presume the certification will be done over one single day. And on the fixed cost, we've got our travel days, which is two at 250 each. That which translates to to $500. And the travel expenses, it's with the certifiers, the certifying agents are going to fly in, and at a cost of $1,500 for the return flight, which will translate for a single unit, that will translate to 1,500. The report writing, we did it maybe said a single day for report writing at 150, which translates to $150. PSO review, that's 3 days at 100 each, that translates to $300. And miscellaneous communication expenses, we've just put it at one quantity for overall, which is $50 per month, which translates to $50. Then the variable costs, we've got the food and accommodation per diem for a single day, that's 100. Analysis fees and samples, that's 1 unit at $300. That reads 300. Expenses of sending analysis, that's 1 unit at $15 per sample. That translates to $15. And certification coordination cost for the whole project, it's 1 at $500. That gives us 3,615. Then we go on to indirect costs related to self-control. Training of technicians. We've got 3 days of training for the technicians, and there are 5 of them at 150. That translates to $750. Then we've got the training of producers. That's for 5 days. We've got 10 producers there at 100. That translates to 2,000. And formalization of the entities. We are assuming that our entity is actually formalized already, so there's no need for any other additional costs there. Then the salary expenses per month, that's for 12 months at $2,500 each. That translates to 30,000. And expenses for rolling stock, I've said it's 2 units at 1,500. That gives us 3,000. For fuel, it's liters per month. That's 500 liters per month at $2 each. That gives us about $1,000 a month. For communication credit, we are just putting it as a wholesome figure. That's $250 for the entire period, which gives us 250. And the total cost for the variables, that will be 37,000. Yeah, I think that's what we have.
Thank you so much for numbers, because I was looking at your figures when, in fact, now I understand when you said, when you are saying dollars. So you actually use dollars and not euros, because we have euros on the page. So when I looked at it, I was like, wow, that's 7,000 euros. Okay, now I understand that $7,000. Anyway, no problem with that conversion. But I would say that your salary expense is really high, like 30,000. That's the chunk of your cost for 1 year. And as a business, you need to be able to justify that people are doing what they need to do to earn this money, and that your company or your organization is going to be able to make enough money for the following year to be able to pay them. And you also know that after a while, people will start demanding salary increase. So you need to start.
Yeah, right. Let me just say something there. The 2,500 is not for an individual. It's for the whole. It's 2,500 per month for the whole farm.
Yeah, that's
it's not
what
for an individual.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Even for $2,500 for the whole month for all the workers. Well, the question should be, how big is your farm? How many hectares are we looking at?
All right, we are looking at 35 hectares.
35 hectares. And
yeah,
this is one commodity that we are talking about. Or how many commodities are we talking about?
Well, this should be for the commodities that we're really looking at. Is about 4 commodities. And our work, our complement, our permanent work complement is 15 guys. And then we also have some casuals that come in at peak periods, like maybe at planting or harvesting as well.
Okay. So what's, when you're doing certification, this cost of certification, is it for one commodity or for the 4 commodities now?
It's for the 4 commodities because we want to take them all through at the same time.
Oh, okay, okay. So that is quite reasonable when you say, I mean, looking at your cost and everything, that's quite reasonable if you are doing 4 commodities because you are selling 4 products. But if it's one commodity, That's where my fear is, that this is really high for one commodity. And even with 35 hectares for one commodity, that's very high. Your cost, your indirect cost will be very, it's relatively high. But for 4 commodities, that should be understandable. But even at that, what I'm trying to say in the nutshell is that if you're paying so much, as in if you look at this cost and you see that it's huge for a company, your indirect cost is high. You need to be, your workers need to be able to give you that cost back. So it's not something they have to be able to play with, because spending $37,000 in a year is huge. That means as a business person, you must be able to get like $70,000 back. Now I have added your fixed cost, your variable cost. Try to have, that's over $40,000. So as a company, when you sell everything in a year, your projection must not be less than $70,000. So now dividing the $70,000 within the 4 commodities for international markets and for those who you will sell locally, it's where your maths have to play and where you have to be able to have a bargaining power with your buyers, because every buyer will want to buy at the cheapest price. So thank you for presenting. Yes.
Thank you.
Abdul, Netflix, you are the last group. Let me stop sharing. No, sorry, before Netflix. Madam Chido, sorry. Madam Chido, you and Mike, who is presenting? You and Mike.
Hello.
Who is presenting?
Hello.
Hello, I'm with you.
You know, we didn't have power, so we didn't write it down. So what I said, I was just going to talk about the organization, not the calculations.
Please go ahead.
So I'm just talking from the head, what we are actually doing and how in some of the things we are already doing, it's complying with the organic standard requirements. Okay, so what we have is that we are forming groups in 3 provinces, in Mashonaland East, Mashonaland West, and Matabeleland North Province. And these groups are of 1,000 maximum. And we have said that the people should be in the same area so that it's easy to go from one community to another. And these smallholder farmers, their farm sizes are less than 5 hectares. And we are just focusing on 1 hectare, which we are dividing into 4 parts so that they are able to do their crop rotation there.
Madam Chido, we lost you. Seems today our network all over is really, really bad. Yeah, it's rainy season, and can you hear me, please? Or is it my network? Can someone respond to me? Ricky, are you?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, you can hear me. Then it's
I can hear you clearly too.
It's rainy season, and rains are all over, so network are becoming very bad. So I understand. Even I've been praying that the network is stable. Okay, so if Madam Chido comes back, then she'll continue. Abdul, please, you have because I really want to finish on time today, exactly 11. Abdul, over to you, 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So let me try if I can share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, we can manage it.
Okay, so we are into production. So our crop is tomatoes, and we are looking at 5 acres. That's 2.5 hectares. So with the various costs, we look at for number one, the fixed cost. The fixed cost, we have travel days, 2 days at the rate of 350 Ghana cedis. So all our costs were captured in Ghana cedis because we are in Ghana. So we also look at of our traveling expenses for our staff that we are going to train of 1,005, which is one. Then we have report writing for 300 Ghana cedis. We have a review for 3 days at 150 per day. Then we also have communication expenses. And it's a package for the whole group, which is 200 Ghana cedis. The variable cost aspect, we look at for the days of control, which is 4 days at the rate of 150 cedis, of accommodation and feeding, which is 90 cedis per person per day. Fees for analysis of samples, 5 samples for the production unit, and each sample costs at 150 cedis, so making 750 for the analysis. Sending of samples, it is sent once at the cost of 200 Ghana cedis. Certification of our project and coordination, 500 Ghana cedis, which I think could be, it can be lower, but those are just estimates. So our indirect cost for the production for the year, training of our technicians. So for the 5 acres, we have two technicians, and the trainer is taking 450 cedis per person. So for 2 days, for 2 people, giving us 900 Ghana cedis as a charge for training. Then training of producers. So even we have technicians and we also have producers. Example, like workers that are going to be working under the supervision of the technicians, which are 6. Then at the cost of 150 cedis for the training charge. Then formalization of our entity, which will be done once at the rate of 1,000 Ghana cedis. Salary expenses for the workers on monthly basis for 6 people, 200 Ghana cedis per month, annually 12,000 Ghana cedis. Our vehicle maintenance and others, we have 3 vehicles, so the maintenance for 130 cedis for each of them, and giving us a total of 390 Ghana cedis.
Hello, Abdul.
Well, for 500 at a liter cost of 15 cedis, so giving us 7,500 in total. Communication, that's credit for our workers, 80 cedis, giving us 560 total. So the total amount for the indirect cost give us 23,250 Ghana cedis for the year of production. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul. I want to assume that this analysis of cost that you have put is for local certification and not for international certification.
Yes, please. You are right.
You are putting it as for PGS.
Yes, you are right.
Aha. Because if you want to do international, your tomato, the cost of exporting and others, it's going to be huge. It's going to be higher than this. That's why I wanted you to learn and say, this should be your cost for PGS. So when you are putting it, submitting it,
Hello.
Hello, Abdul. When you are submitting, indicates that
yes,
it's PGS.
Okay, okay.
It is not third party, so that I know it is PGS. Yeah, even though I know now, but indicates that it is PGS. That it is. So yes, and I want to assure you, if you do your tomato in organic, there is huge. I will tell you the truth. There is huge demand. We have never met. We have never met the tomato demand, organic tomato demand in Ghana. We have never, in the last 3 years, we have not even gotten to quarter of the demand.
Then that's a market niche for us at Maflex.
So that's why when you send me a chat, I was telling you, if you guys can, if it's just one commodity or two commodities that you can focus on as organic, then we can help you and then you can plug into the market. So we'll take the discussion off after this. So Madam Chido, over to you. Yeah, please, you can stop sharing the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for presenting. Madam Chido, over to you.
Oh, hello. Where was it? Our internet dropped down. Okay, so we were saying that in terms of the sizes of our groups, the numbers, it means we are complying. And what we have done is that these groups, we are making them right, like, what would I call it? Because we want them to be registered so that they're a legal entity, and with the group rules, that who becomes a member and what is expected of a member. And at what point are they going to decide that a certain member, they can remove them from the group because they say a member is not complying with the group rules, including the rules of production and ensuring that they are growing the crop according to the standard, So it's the mechanism within the group of managing the group and ensuring that the group is complying. And then also with the group, also the ordering the inputs that then they are bought for the group, which means that inputs like seed, which have to be sourced out, which the farmers have no choice. It means that it's then bought as a group through now our company. So which means that we then ensure that the seeds they are using and any fertilizers which they want to complement the their own fertilizers which they make, it's also complying. And then as a group, they then select people in the group who are trained, say, on how to make compost, on other training, so that they continuously retrain the group members to ensure that they are always meeting the like food safety, hygiene, and so forth within the group. So we are still thinking about how, the quality management system, so that they're able to do their internal audits, audit themselves to ensure that they are meeting the standard. So that's how far we have gone with the groups. The groups now, they've registered. They've not officially registered, but now they've set up their groups. They've got their names, the contact numbers of everybody. They've set up their committees. They've set up also their managing committee, say with the secretary, because they pay or something to be a member of that group, and they use that money to manage their local expenses, like if they want one of their members to go and attend a training away, which we are offering and we are not going to do it there, they've got some money whereby one of their members uses that money to do that. So that's how far we are at the moment.
Okay.
So that's what we can share.
Thank you, but please, the real assignments are put in the figures and submit. One of the things I've also been able to add to the additional folder, there's an additional folder under additional material because of the substance that are allowed in organic. You know, we're talking about your manure, and so I have been able to pull out the new EU regulations on the substances that are allowed, and so you can see there the substances that are allowed, your manure and all that. Abdul, please permit me, we have just 10 minutes more and I have to finish on time. So we're going to take the discussion further. So I've all watched his here, we've talked over it over and over and over. This has been shared. So I'm just going to run through one thing that is key important for those who are going to do EU regulation is, even for the local market, your residue level. Your residue level is very important, and you know that's why in the cost analysis that we did, your sampling, you have to test your sample. Apart from testing your soil, you have to test your sample that if you have been doing conventional before, that your residue level is very, very, the elements substance in the products at the end of the day, the residue effect of the chemical is very, very low, and it's the acceptable level. So there's also a document on what is accepted, the levels that are accepted. I've added everything to the group page. So for those who are doing group of operator like Madam Chido and Wad, this is going to be like your guide, what it now entails. Now that if you're going to sell to EU, this is your ICS group. You have to form that group that you're talking about. It has to be called the group of operators. And I'm happy that you've been able to minimize them to 1,000 because the maximum in a group now cannot be more than 2,000. And then you need to look at the turnover about the entire group, those who are joining, what's their turnover. And when we say the turnover, it is not just for the organic field. That is what you should put into consideration. Is the totality of the fields that the farmer has. Even if the farmer has 20 farms, all those 20 farms has to be documented now with the new EU regulation. The total size and the total turnover has to be documented. So that is when you can actually see whether this farmer is going to be eligible for only individual certification or can go on with the group certification. So the rules are from one level to another. So also we look at the implication of Act 36.1. This act, what is saying about the group of operators, what they have to do step by step. I want to encourage everybody who wants to go for the new EU regulation, please endeavor to read all these documents. The articles are many, yes they are, but take time. If you're going to be reading one of the documents each for 1 month, we still have a long time before it comes to enforcement. So try as much as possible to read all these documents that we have shared with you on the new EU regulation. So this presentation also will be in the group chat, in the e-learning platform. And also, please do your assignments. I have, like I said, I've added additional documents on EU, the new EU regulation. Please download them and save them. Also, by the end of this session, I'll open the quiz for us, and then we can do our quiz. Please, you know that we have only next week left for this course. And so after the end of next week, we will only have few days left as trainers to work on the reports. So we won't want situation whereby you will now be sending your notification that you have just put in your assignments. Please, this holiday, try as much as possible to catch up all your assignments and do all the assignments and submit them, so that you have next week, you'll be able to finish when we are supposed to finish next week, Friday, and then we'll be able to get your certificate in another 1 week. Thank you. Abdul, you can ask your question now, please.
Thank you. So with this period of conversion for vegetables, which you mentioned 1 year, I believe this is in relation to open field production when you are cultivating in the soil. But then at our side, we do our tomatoes in the greenhouse. And in the greenhouse, we use cocoa pit and then we use grow bags. So if we are doing conventional, if we want to convert to organic, how long would that take us for the conversion?
So that's why we'll have to do training for you. It's not just your production that we are after in organic. We also look at the environment. There are things that you have to put in place around your greenhouses, with your biodiversity in your around your greenhouses. What is the distance between your organic greenhouses to your conventional greenhouses? All this we will look at when we come for training, and we'll tell you what you need to do, what you need to do, what you need to do. Once you are able to do all that, and you start your production with all what we have taught you in your training, during your training is always 3 days for us and for PGA. Once you are able to do all that, then, and you start your production, we'll come back to check, have you done everything? Once you say you have done everything, when we come for your peer review, we all come for peer review. When you're doing your peer review, if you have put in place what you are trained, because it is greenhouse now, then that 6 months can be qualified as organic. But if you have not done what you are supposed to do in ensuring that your environment is organic, then you will have to go on transition.
Okay. Thank you.
It is you that will determine whether you want that first production to go on in organic, if you are able to do all that you'll be asked to do.
That's okay. Thank you.
Any other question, please? Before I hand over to Vicky, any other question? Can I still form a group of operators irrespective of the low number of producers and farm sites? Yes, you can. You can have 2 hectares, you can have less than that, you can have 20 people as your group of operators, but they are put a benchmark on the maximum. The minimum was not declared in the new EU regulation. Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. Over to you, Ricky.
All right, thank you, Olaumi, and thank you everyone for your attention this week and in this session. Indeed, it's been a very useful session evaluating your costings and your appreciation of the financial aspects of conversion to organic agriculture. And as a precursor to what we were covering next week, it's good to note, as I think Olaumi was mentioning, about the organic market for tomato in Ghana, the high demand versus the low supply, which is actually what we'll be focusing on and looking at the marketing opportunities for organic next week. Of course, we have to appreciate how we will recoup the investment. And it's not just about where the markets are, but what is it that it takes to reach into all of those different markets. So This will also tie up with the specific market standards that we looked at. So in addition to what we have been doing, which is focusing on the EU regulation, as you look and as you start to consider different markets, please note that you'll also have to look at the specific standards that these markets are working with and start to appreciate that. Now, what we have been doing is within the context of what I would call a situation analysis. So the second part of next week is really consolidating all this information and looking at it critically and saying, all right, this is where we are, and on the good side of a scale, we have a 60 or 40 or 50% in terms of what is required. We have an understanding of what we need to move into conversion, but we've got another element of the scale to work with to upgrade and make sure that we are fully ready. So the second part of the week, we will be reviewing that and really trying to understand from the point of view of an action plan, what do we need to do to go or to move forward. So for us to have this exercise executed and done in good time, but also effectively carried out, it is very, very critical that we have all our assignments done, because this is now gathering all this historical information and
Hello, Ricky. Hello, Ricky. We lost you. Ricky. So we lost Ricky. I'll just conclude by saying thank you to everyone that came in today. And I would like to say happy Easter to all of us. And please enjoy your holiday. And don't forget to do all the assignments. And we'll see on Tuesday. Feel free to ask further questions on the group page, or if you want to do it privately, that's fine. But remember that this is holiday, so it might take some time for us to respond back to you. On the note of this, I want to